Hi everyone, welcome to the Aussizz Conclave 4.0. We hope that all of you are really excited about our upcoming management, occupation and PR pathway seminar. I'll introduce all our seasoned professionals who are joining us today. The first of all, we have Mohin. Mohin is a dedicated education consultant. He's joining us from Parramatta. He has over 3 years of experience and a deep understanding of the entire Australian education system. So he's an expert in management, so he'll guide you through the entire education process. We have Smit Patel. Smit Patel is again a registered migration agent and he is director in the Macquarie Park branch of Aussizz. He has over 4 years of experience in immigration law and has solved successfully over 350 cases. Further, we have Jaspal Singh. Jaspal Singh is joining us from our Victorian branch and he started as a migration admin. With his dedication and pure hard work, he has received his MARA license. He is expert with GSM, the family visas, employer sponsored and many more. Finally, it's Alpesh Patel. Alpesh Patel are again a very experienced registered migration agent. He is specialized in the immigration law and the visa services. That's all about our today's presenters, those who are going to give you an entire thorough representation onto the management as well as the PR pathways associated with it. So over to you, our esteemed presenters.
Hello, thank you so much for the introduction. So today we'll be talking about courses under management, and I would like to welcome all of the joining esteemed team members as well as our audiences who are watching online. So the courses under management that we will be talking about today is under hospitality, supply chain, construction, sports, entrepreneurship, and more. And we will also talk about different scholarship opportunities for international students who can actually apply for good scholarships in the institutions. Now, moving on, we'll start with the first slide. Let me just quickly. Yeah, so reasons to choose management. Now, as an education consultant, what I've seen is a lot of international students, they tend to lean towards courses that they're not really interested in. Because I believe they look for migration pathways first. Now, that is why I think this topic is very crucial to discuss, because today we will be busting some myths as well regarding management courses, and we will not only be talking about the courses and the scholarships, but our migration agents will also explain the pathways leading to permanent residency in Australia. So if you are someone who is skillful in communication, leadership, who has a business acumen and a knack for strategic thinking, problem solving, then these courses will definitely be the one that you want to pursue as a career. Now, the first course that we'll be talking about is hotel management or hospitality management. Now, in hospitality, there's a bachelor's, master's, of international hospitality management, tourism, and event management as well. Now, if you look at the bachelor's or master's in hospitality management, the courses range anywhere from 12 to 15,000 per semester. Now, the different institutes that offer this course is Southern Cross University, Torrens University, the Hotel School, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and many more. If you look at this course encompasses units that actually help you in understanding how a hotel works. So you'll be able to manage staff and the hotel operations. You'll also learn about practical business strategy skills. You'll also learn about the financial aspect of hospitality, and you'll also be expanding your hotel-specific revenue management skills. Now, the career pathways with hotel management is you can work as a food and beverage manager, you can work as a duty manager, hotel manager, you can also work as operations manager, resort manager, and even accommodation manager. So I would like to share some of the salary ranges for jobs in hospitality. So as you can see on screen, we have hotel managers, event managers, accommodation managers, sales managers, and all the salaries, they range anywhere from $60,000 to $65,000 and anywhere to $165,000 as well, depending on your experience and depending on the company you work with. Now, it's not just the salary, but there are also many other facilities that add into such a career option. To share, I have actually a friend who works as a hotel manager with one of the big brands such as Marriott. And what I see is he's always traveling to different countries and mostly every few months. And I remember asking him one time that how does he manage all that? So he told me that as a hotel manager, he has many perks, such as about 60 to 70% discount on their hotel stays. And they also have these things called task force where they send them to different locations to work with housing and fooding added. So if you're somebody who loves traveling, if you're somebody who loves communicating and you have a knack for attention to detail, then hospitality would definitely be a good career option for you. Moving on, the next occupation that we'll talk about is supply chain management. So in this occupation, you have Bachelor's of Business in Logistics and Supply Chain Management, and you have Masters of Logistics and Supply Chain Management as well. So in this course, you'll be learning about risk management, you'll be learning about global operations, you'll also be learning about operations and logistics. And the career pathways with this course would be in supply and demand distribution planner. You can also work as a supply chain manager or a logistic analyst. Now, few of the universities that have this courses are Swinburne University, La Trobe University, 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐿 University, and there are also a few colleges that provide this course. Most importantly, the average salary in this occupation ranges anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000. The next occupation we'll talk about is construction management. The courses that involve in construction management would be a bachelor's or a master's in building and construction, civil construction, architecture, quantity surveying, or even regional and urban planning. Now, the career pathways through this course would be quantity surveyor, project manager, and construction consultant. And within the course, you'll be learning a lot about construction projects. You will be learning about sustainability practices. And yes, again, few of the courses that provide this course is Swinburne, University of Canberra, and CQ University, Australia. Moving on to sports management. Under this occupation, we have Bachelor's in Sports Management and Masters of Business Administration in Sports Management. Within this course, you'll be learning a lot about the professional aspects or the business aspects of sports. So if you're passionate about sports, if you are good with event coordination, marketing, and promotion, then this course will definitely be a good career pathway for you. Now, Torrens University and University of Canberra are a few of the universities which provide this course. And if you're looking for a career pathway in this course, then you can go for sports manager, sports events manager, sports facility manager. You can see on the screen the different salary ranges in this occupation as well. Finally, I would like to talk about innovation and entrepreneurship management. Now, with this occupation, the course that you can go for is Bachelor's or Master's of Management, and you might be able to choose entrepreneurship and innovation management or international business, international relations as a major in this degree. Now, the key learnings that you will learn with this occupation or this degree is you'll be able to learn about business opportunity, international business opportunities, innovative business modules. You'll also be able to engage with local startups and landscape through incubators, accelerators, and investors. And the career pathway, once you complete this course, would be in research and development manager, business consultant, business managers, or business development managers. And a few of the universities that provide this course is the University of Adelaide, University of Canberra, and UCS Australia. Now, the course fee for these courses range anywhere from $35,000 to $45,000 annually, but there are many universities that provide excellent scholarship opportunities for international students. Now, this is just a basic bar graph regarding the different management occupations and their salary ranges. Moving on to scholarships. Now, SCU has an international scholarship from $5,000 to $15,000 per annum. KBS, Kaplan Business School, also has a scholarship of anywhere from 10 to 30%, depending on your merits. Torrens University and SCU and La Trobe, they all have a scholarship ranging anywhere from 10 to 30%, again, depending on your merits. So there are a lot of scholarship opportunities for students if you want to go for these courses. Now, I just want to quickly run down to the different general requirements of these courses. Now, if you look at diploma and advanced diploma, the general entry requirements would encompass your previous qualification. So that would be the secondary certificate. You would need a English language requirement of anywhere from 5.5. So that comes to about 46 in PTE. For bachelor's, you would need an English requirement anywhere from 5.5 to 6 overall. And for a master's degree, you would need an overall of 6.5 in IELTS or a equivalent of 50 in PTE. Now, there's also a certificate course, which is a certificate 4 in business or a certificate 4 in hospitality. Now, this is a short course with a duration of about 6 months, but this would be beneficial to working professionals who already have good amount of experience, so they can do these short-term courses, which will assist them to do a skill assessment as well. So basically, these are the management courses, and now I would like to pass over to our migration team, who will be talking about different migration pathways regarding that. So over to you.
Thanks, Mohin, for the information. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. I will be starting with 𝐸𝐻𝐴 skills assessment, which is the largest skills assessment body in Australia, which does majority of the occupation. I'll be giving a brief information about what sort of occupation is getting assessed by 𝐸𝐻𝐴. I'll be discussing about these particular 6 occupations. Then after, 2 of my colleagues will be explaining you about the remaining occupation and IML skills assessment body as well. Parallelly, we'll be discussing about the state, what are the opportunity in any particular states for these occupations, and which occupations are really in demand at the moment, and most probably for the next financial year as well, on base of our analysis, rather than just going through individual occupations, whether it's really, not even related to anybody. So as I said, 𝐸𝐻𝐴, they have groups such as Group A occupation, Group B occupation, Group C occupations, and so on. The differences in between these groups are Group A occupation must have a qualification related to the nominated occupation. If you have an experience for 10 years, let's say, and you don't have any qualification, you can't have your skills assessment done under Group A occupation. Construction project manager is Group A occupation. That means you have to have at least bachelor degree or higher in the highly relevant major field of study, which includes the construction project management, building technology, or building science, or civil engineering. In addition to that, the applicant must have 1 year of relevant experience post-qualification in order to apply for the skills assessment through 𝐸𝐻𝐴 skill assessment body. Usually 𝐸𝐻𝐴 skill assessment body, they do provide priority processing as well. And if the skill assessment is applied under priority processing, you can expect the skill assessment to come in a week time or 2 weeks time. There is another occupation over there is customer service manager, which is a Group C occupation. What does that mean is if you don't have a relevant qualification, you still have a possibility to have a positive skills assessment from the skills assessment body. But in that case, the department will be requiring you to have up to 4 years of experience. If you don't have such as for example, even diploma level qualification. If you do have diploma or higher qualification in any field, and if you have 2 years experience, then also you can have a positive skill assessment as customer service manager. Now going back on construction project manager, if I talk about Western Australia, in the month of November 2023, the last invitation round was happened from WA, and this occupation was invited at 75 points. This occupation is eligible for graduate and general stream as well, and that's in priority occupation list. So the chances of being invited from WA for these particular occupations are pretty good. The next one, if I talk about customer service manager, that is also available for graduate and general stream. I would like to have a bit of insight for NSW and Victoria. So starting with NSW for construction project manager, please.
So thank you, Alpesh, for explaining construction project manager. Now with the construction project manager, guys, with NSW, as we have seen that infrastructure has always been the top priority for particularly all of states, and NSW is also one of the major, big state, I would say, when it comes to contributing in the economy perspective. Construction project manager is one of the best occupation you can have. However, in recent times, because there was limited seats available, and they actually did not provided everything on majority because they were actually, the NSW was actually targeting nurse and teachers. They did not provided a lot of invitation in last financial year. However, in past recent years, it has we have seen a lot of invitations with the construction project manager, and they actually want these construction sectors occupation and people who can come here and do the skill job in Australia. So NSW is all about, so if you are holding that kind of occupation, then it's more important to hold a skilled employment as well along with the occupation, because if you have good number of years of experience, then only it will give you a extra benefit in NSW, because NSW is always looking for the skilled migrants compared to those who does not have experience. Just if you want to highlight Victoria.
Thanks, Smit. Thank you everyone for joining us for the management session. Now, with the project management in construction, it's really a good scope in Victoria, because Victorian government, along with other state governments, have announced that until 2030, they will be focusing on building more houses. So building more houses means all the occupations related to the construction field are highly in demand, would be highly in demand in the future. And construction project management is one of them, which is the person handling all the projects for the big companies. So it's highly in demand, and recent round in 189 recently happened. We got few invites at 80 and 85 points for the managers in construction. So in Victoria, and not only in Victoria, I would say in most of the states, it would be, it's a good option now, because the construction is going to be highly in demand. Thank you.
Great. And also I would like to add, sorry, before Alpesh, if you can move on. Also, I would like to add on with NSW, with 190 and 491, both are very good state, because I remember in last year in July round, with June round of 2023, we had one construction project manager getting invited at 85 points with no experience at all. So pretty much with this data, we can see that they have received an invitation. However, with last 1 year, like I said, they are more focusing on skilled employees, skilled migrants. So it's better to find a job in your relevant field.
Yeah, certainly that will help for sure. Moving on, for the occupation from Weta says is as a sports center manager. That occupation is not in the list for Western Australia. Any input for NSW and Victoria for that?
With NSW, sports center manager is in the list, because for NSW, it's all about all entire occupation is there. However, it's more so that whether they are actually inviting or not this occupation. And with this occupation, we have not seen a lot of invitation when it comes to sports center manager. So if you are actually holding this occupation, and if you are relying on this occupation, rather we can look for another option. Also, you can try to get a sponsorship from your employer. So if you are getting that sponsorship, that would give you an extra benefit without putting down a lot of hope on 189, 190, or even 490.
Similar in Victoria, I would say it's better to go with other employer sponsored visas, like Smith said. Not really highly in demand in Victoria as well.
Say, conference and event organizer, that is in the list for graduate and general stream for Western Australia, and that's also in priority occupation list as well. Despite being on priority occupation list, conference and event organizer has not been invited in the month of November 2023 or even October 2023. But since it's in priority occupation list, there are pretty good chances of that being invited in the next financial year if the seats allocation are higher. So it's good occupation to be considered if someone is really studying related to that particular occupation. How was the situation in NSW and Victoria at this stage for this particular occupation as conference and event organizer?
With conference, so I just had one client with conference and event organizer, and with that occupation, so it's something that you cannot give 100% clarity on that, whether they will be, getting an invitation or not. However, so my advice is always being like, because of course, you cannot get, skill assessment without work experience. And that goes without saying that they would be working or most likely be working in their own field, which gives them the upper hand to, even ask for the sponsorship on the later stage. However, if you are targeting NSW, it's more so advisable to targeting employer sponsorship 494. Those employer sponsorship visas would help you out. If you are depending on 189, 190, or even 491, then definitely recommending you to focus on getting at high points, and the threshold I would say is 90-95 points, having 2 to 3 years of experience. That would help you to get these invitations for 190 NSW.
Victoria also is not many invites. We haven't received many invites for this occupation, and like Smit said, it's highly recommended that you go for employer sponsor visas or try to get as much experience you can, and probably have a skilled partner also, even if you're in Victoria, and try to go up to 90 to 100 points and speed your English as well. Only then you might have a slim chance. Otherwise, better to go with the employer sponsor visas.
Yep, sounds great. There is an occupation called company secretary. That's only undergraduate stream in WA. I haven't come across any client yet so far. If you want to just some highlight on it.
Again, it's pretty much it's all the same with this kind of occupation. So when we have that occupation, it's sometimes when you say if luck works out, yes, you get an invitation straight away. But if luck doesn't work out, then you might have to target something else or create an option B for you. That's the most preferable way to do so.
Similar in Victoria, like I said before, all these occupations are not really in demand, because in Victoria it's more focused on health, like nursing, teachers, and social workers, and now in construction as well. So anything else is really low chances of getting an invitation.
Sure, thanks for your input. I want to move on the next occupation, which is organization and method analyst. That is under general stream only in WA. That means the one who has not completed 2 years qualification in Western Australia, only they can be invited from Western Australia. There hasn't been any invitation for this particular occupation in the last 3 invitation round so far, from August 2023 to November 2023. It is in the list at the moment. I'm not sure whether that's going to stay there or not, but particularly for this sort of occupation, employer sponsored visa has better option in terms of PR pathway than probably an invitation. Apart from that, do you want to add anything on it?
So Alpesh, when it comes to organization method analysis, it's one of my favorite occupation to get the skills assessment for. The reason being that many of our clients do get confused with that, whether they will be able to get management consultant or organization method analyst. Now with that kind of occupation, it's highly important for us to assess the case, and that's where our job comes in, because it's for us, it's when you get the case is always to find out the difference between management consultant and of course organization method analyst, and that kind of occupation gives us benefit. Now with organization method analyst with NSW, I am pretty much hopeful to get the invitation up in upcoming new financial year. Now last financial year was totally like a desert. There was no invitation round for this particular occupation. However, whatsoever I've come across with this case, the employers were ready to sponsor for this occupation. Now they have already sponsored. We have received a lot of positive outcome for 482 and 186 as well after working on 482 for 2 years. But as this is a short-term skill list, the unfortunate thing is that you cannot go for 186 direct entry straight away. It's always good to go for 482, then work for the same employer for 2 years, and then get 186 TRT stream.
Victoria, it's also in the list, and because it's in short-term list. So, but in this occupation also, I would recommend high points and speed your English. Probably have at least 2 to 3 years of experience as a method analyst. Only then in Victoria, but also depends on how many number of seats Victoria gets in the next financial round. Depends on the quota, and then also depends on their mood, probably the trends, because last year we see the trends were like health occupations, but now the trend has changed to construction. It could change also to these management roles as well.
Sure. Hotel and motel manager, that's in list for Western Australia. undergraduate and general as well. It also falls under priority occupation. So the chances of being invited as a hotel motel manager are pretty good in WA. And from here onwards, 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐞 can lead the presentation and will be assisting you there. Hello.
Okay, so I'll take it forward from here. So with hotel motel manager, you need, because right now with many people get confused when that hotel motel manager, is it a good occupation to get or not? Now it's always important to understand that what it comes to with hotel motel manager, that you should be actually managing the entire hotel, making sure that you are taking care of all the departments and making decision after you are just just going and reporting to owner of the hotel. So you are pretty much making decisions on behalf of the owner. Another thing is that with hotel motel manager, people do get the good chance of getting a job in this field is regional areas also, because there are good tourist location in regional areas. There are a lot of hotels, motels in regional areas where you can find job as a manager. There is less competition there. You can target 491 along with the 190 depending on which state are you in. If we calculate NSW, then NSW has been pretty much good with hotel motel manager. They have been inviting, and pretty much we have seen a lot of invitation last year, and we are expecting a lot of invitation in upcoming new financial year. When it comes to South Australia is also one of the best state that you can go for hotel or motel manager. Now, why is that so? Is that if you have studied, for example, hospitality management or business management into South Australia, and since then you have started working as a hotel motel manager and have a good amount of experience, you have a good number of experience in South Australia, then South Australian government will surely invite you. Previous financial year, it was all different. The reason being they had a very lenient requirements. There was no ROI in South Australia. However, with this upcoming in 2023 to 2024, they introduced ROI system. That means you need to lodge an ROI, and then you will be invited, just like an EOI, what happens in NSW and many other states, to be honest. So you can keep your hope alive if you are in this two state. Remaining with for Western Australia, I'll ask Alpesh to just elaborate on that.
Yeah, sure. That's in our priority occupation list. The last time when the invitation round was happened in November, this occupation was invited at 70 points for general stream and 75 points for graduate stream. So that's not really high score, to be honest, for hotel or motel manager. So it's very good chances in Western Australia. Same for those regional area as well. Under DAMA, it is possible as well. So, I mean, if you are in Western Australia, very good chances you shouldn't be really concerned about this one as long as you have 70 plus points. Any Victoria, please.
Yeah, in Victoria, it's also in the list. And at one point, chefs and hospitality was in the list after COVID, but after that it's slowed down. But it's still in the list and still sort of in demand. And if you have sort of 85 to 90 points and some couple of years of experience, then you have a good chance in this occupation as well in Victoria.
And how about ACT, just about if you can.
ACT is also sort of similar. It's there. It's in the list. It's in not like priority list, but it's still in demand.
Okay.
Depending on your experience and speak English, and because they have their own metrics, so it depends on all those points.
But if you are in ACT, I've seen one invitation round happening recently, and they invited at 110 points. Which was whopping, because to meet the eligibility requirement for 110, it's crazy. What do you think?
Certainly.
Yeah, it's really high point. It's really hard to achieve that number of points. Not everyone can do it. So yeah, it's a high threshold, but in Victoria, I have seen around 90 points, 95 points as well.
Also, I think Tasmania is not a bad option as well, I believe. So they have been consistent for that. What do you think, guys?
Yes, in Tasmania, if you have the skill assessment and you're living and working there around 6 months, they have usually you qualify for 190 according to the criteria for this year financial year. Next year, hopefully, I think they're going to keep it same. And if you can manage to find a job and work in your field around 6 months, you become eligible, and they have invited few people over there as well.
That's great. That's great. Now let's move on to management consultant, one of the craziest occupation that we have in the list. Many people do get confused with this kind of occupation, whether they can get the skill assessment under management consultant or not. Now we recently had a case where what client wanted, that they wanted to go for management consultant. However, upon looking up the nature of the business, not even the duties, nature of the business was not consulting. Now, they have already mentioned that if your company is not in a consulting firm or in a consulting role, it is hard to get a management consultant. What's your experience in these occupations, Alpesh and Jaspal?
I completely agree with that one. We had the similar situation where the business obviously was not operating as a management consulting firm, and applying from that definitely was not going to come positive. So we advise the client. So it's very important to choose in between management consultant and organization method analyst, as you mentioned previously. It is in the list for graduate and general as well for Western Australia. So the chances of being invited are there. The occupation, the skill assessment obviously is going to be challenging.
Similar in Victoria as well. It's there in the list, but obviously again the threshold is high, about 90 to 95 points. Experience counts as well, superior English. In Victoria also they're prioritizing people with skilled partners. So if your partner is also skilled and their occupation is in demand, that also affects.
True. And with the management consultant, the good part about this occupation, it comes under MLTSSL. And when it is under MLTSSL, guys, everyone knows that you can get direct 186 direct entry. That means that you do not need to go on 482 if you meet the requirement of 3 years work experience plus skills assessment. Now that's beauty of it. So if you can get your skills assessment done with 3 years of experience, having on hand, and if your employer is ready to sponsor you, why not to go for 186 direct entry rather than waiting for skill visa?
Yeah.
With research and development manager, to be honest, I've not seen much of the invitations in NSW. What's your experience, guys?
We haven't seen any either, and that's obviously undergraduate stream only in WA. So it's kind of like an occupation. It's there just probably to satisfy the students who are studying over here, but not really in kind of in demand.
In Victoria also, it's there in the list, but haven't really heard or seen any invitations for this.
And I believe the research and development manager are more so it's hard to get a job as well in Australia. What do you think? Like it's hard. It's a very managerial role, and to get a fresher to enter into a managerial role, it's pretty much huge task to get into.
Yes, spot on. I agree with that one.
Now coming on to the corporate service manager, if someone is, in the corporate department managing if someone has studied administrative manager, business service manager, then they can actually fall under corporate service manager. Also, if your employment task goes with the high level of administrative, strategic planning, operational support, research, and advice to your senior management, then you can actually target to fall under this category. Also, if you are looking after developing, managing the organization, administrative, financial, physical, staff resources, then you can actually go. But however, if you are holding a managerial level, then only you should go for this. If you are on a team leader level, then I would not advise you to go for corporate service manager because you are still not on a corporate service manager. With NSW and South Australia again, with the being a very consistent state previous years and last year, if you have been working for more than 1 year, the requirement is 6 months though. But if you have a good number of years of experience, then I would say you can put down your hope on this occupation. With NSW, I haven't, to be honest, seen much of the invitation with this occupation at the moment. Over to you guys for Victoria and Western Australia.
It is similar to this research and development manager after graduation. It's challenging to find such a high level job in the field, especially in Australia. So majority of them are not even being kind of eligible to have the skills assessment unless and until they have qualification and experience outside Australia. So in WA, for an example, it's not in the list even for the invitation.
Oh, it's not in the list?
No.
Okay. So pretty much it's if you are holding that occupation in Western Australia, no point.
Yeah, move to NSW.
Until unless you can just give out your points to your partner, but that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that can help. Sorry.
What's up with the Victoria, Jaspal?
Yeah, Victoria is quite similar. The problem with this is to gain experience in this occupation is quite hard. That's one of the challenge for the applicants. Once you have the enough experience, then if, for example, up to 3 years, I would say, then you might have a slim chance with higher points as well. Otherwise, it's highly unlikely.
But what, Jaspal, if in Victoria, the good part about is they do worry, care about skilled employment. And that's why they have given skill 1, 2, 3. You can work in those categories, isn't it? Now, isn't it good that if, for example, if I have a corporate service manager and if I'm working on a health sector, to be honest, like for that matter, then would it make difference in my application? Would it put down in a priority somehow?
So I'm saying the experience matters a lot. So if you have experience and you're working in skill level 1, 2, or 3, but that also relates to health, and you have a skill occupation to a different occupation that's not you're working in, it does affect. And also the salary effects as well. In Victoria, they ask in ROIs of how much you're making annually. So if you're making good money, that also affects your chances of getting the invitation.
Okay. Now, all right, Mohin, let's move on to other slides. I would hand over to Mr. Jaspal for explaining IML.
All right. So IML offers a few different kind of skill assessments in different occupations. For example, sales and marketing manager, supply chain manager, procurement manager, chief executive and managing director, HR, advertising managers as well, and engineering managers as well. So in most of these occupations, the criteria to get the skill assessment is very, very similar. Most of these occupations require at least 3 years of experience along with the bachelor's degree in your field. So if you do not have the bachelor's degree in your field, but you have a bachelor's degree for any other education, you still can get the assessment done. But in that case, you need extra 2 years of experience. So in total, then you need at least 5 years of experience. And out of that 3 years or 5 years, minimum of 2 years, you must be working as a manager. The other 1 year could be, for example, assistant manager or something. Also, the size of the organization also matters. For example, in chief executive, managing director, or HR managers, the size of the organization must be up to 50 employees. If you have less than 50 employees working in their organization, it's really hard to get the positive skill assessment. And if you don't have the positive skill assessment, it doesn't open the doors for you for the skill migration in general skill migration, I mean. And another thing is at least 1 year of experience must be in the field within last 5 years. So they also see that you're currently in the field or no. If you have, for example, 3 years, but that is not within 5 years, at least 1 year not within 5 years, then it's really hard to get the skill assessment done. And another thing to keep note in this, that you need to have at least 3 career episodes to show your competency demonstration. They call it a STAR. So STAR means S means situation, T for task, A for action, and R for results. So they give, you have to provide them 3 career episodes showing that you have this problem and how you came up with the solution, what you actually did to solve the problem, and what was the outcome and the result of that problem. So these are all these different occupations in IML. With supply and distribution manager in Victoria, it's there in the list. It's good occupation to hold if you have good experience in the logistics and supply chain. And then it got invitations last year around 85 to 90 point, not too many, but there were a few. And also a good option to have a employer sponsor if you have a couple of years of experience. What about in other states, guys? Can you hear me?
You can take care of that.
Okay. Now, thank you, Jaspal. Now, before we go into particular state, I have an interesting question for all our audiences. Just because I saw supply and distribution manager, just one question just came to my mind. Guys, if you are, because supply and distribution manager, that's the only, if you are working under import export or as a logistic manager, then you can go for supply chain manage and distribution manager. What if you are not working as a manager? Then what occupation can you get? For example, so this question is all for all our audiences. If you can answer it in the chat box, that if you are working as a logistic, or if someone has this occupation, if you're working as a logistic coordinator and doesn't have a managerial role, has done qualification as a supply chain, that what occupation will it go under? Now we will answer this by end of this session for sure, but this is for you to provide us your response in the chat box. Now to go forward with the NSW requirements, supply and distribution manager has been good. However, these occupations are pretty well known and pretty much on a very high level occupations where someone would be working on very high level. We had I had few cases where we dealt with supply distribution manager, sales and marketing manager, where the applicant was actually the manager for entire Australia for that particular company. So they need to work at that particular level. Then only they will be able to justify, like Jaspal mentioned, that they will be able to justify in the competency report. Once you get this assessment, then these occupations are well known. However, sales and marketing, supply and distribution manager, those are very good occupation, to be honest, to go for in NSW. With chief executive and managing director, we have not seen so much of invitation. Maybe because there are not a lot of chief executive and managing director. And with human resource manager, I believe so, not that great invitation with NSW. And even with South Australia, if you are working under that level, South Australia do invite such occupations. So if you are working in this level, then I would say that you should target to go for South Australia. They also have highly skilled and demand occupation. So if you fall under that category, if you're working under ICT with the same kind of occupation in that business, then of course you will get an opportunity to get a priority on that state. Yeah, Alpesh, on to you for Western Australia.
Yeah, W has a similar situation for this chief executive and managing director. It's not in the list for various reasons. Most of them usually comes on that employer sponsor visa. Procurement manager, it's under graduate stream only. Sales and marketing manager, that's in priority occupation for WA. So very good chances for WA resident, especially. The other occupations are in the list, but haven't really seen that many invitations coming through for those particular occupations for two different reasons. Maybe they don't have such a expression of interest form in the system because of not having an experience to get the skills assessment at that highly executive level. The second one could be just obviously because they are not in priority occupation list.
Just going on sales and marketing manager, if you're in Victoria, it's really good occupation to hold on, because we got some invitations in sales and marketing management in Victoria at around 85 to 90 points with 3 years of experience, and also high salary as well. I'm mentioning the salary again and again because in Victoria they do look at it, they also ask it in the ROI. So if you're making more money, it does affect.
So for example, if someone already had, someone would be working back home on this level and had the skill assessment done, then what's the prospect if someone is applying from offshore in Victoria?
See, that would depend on the number of seats we get this year, because last year we haven't got much. That's why they mostly targeted the onshore applicants. Offshore were only who are probably in sort of teaching and nursing sector, not in the management. But it depends. This year, if we get good number of quota, a good number of seats for Victoria, there might be options for the offshore candidates as well.
Great. And let's moving forward. So pretty much moving forward, what's your take on these management courses, guys? So, management courses, management occupation. If someone is asking you the advice that whether they should pursue these courses or not, what would you advise?
I would suggest that if they are passionate about what they are going to study and really dedicated to find a job in the field, then it's good. If you think that you are doing for the sake of doing and you're not really interested in doing or working in the field, then probably that's not going to that's not going to help you at all for the PR pathway, because your skill assessment is not going to be possible if you don't have an experience.
Right.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Because all these are most of these occupations in IML especially, they need 3 years of work experience to get the assessment done. So if you're not passionate, you don't want to work in this field, it's not for you then.
Right. And Mohin, just for you, one question that you have been advising these courses, and have you, how, if you share your experience that, if someone is choosing this course, what kind of, aspect do they look at before getting this course?
So, Smith, what I've usually seen is a lot of people come in these courses actually, but then they tend to lean towards a different course just because by hearing their friends or family, they hear that the other courses such as healthcare or education have more PR prospects. So usually they tend to change from these occupations. But I believe if somebody is really good, in terms of management, and if somebody really thinks that they can land a job, then I think that this course would definitely be beneficial to them. So as an education consultant, I always tell them that there are good opportunities, there are good pathways to PR from these courses as well. And, if you are really passionate about these courses, then you should definitely go for it.
Right. And if someone has done Masters of Supply Chain, now people have this myth. Now, I would like to ask our agents, if you can elaborate if someone has done supply chain and they are not working on a managerial level, what would you advise if they are working as a logistic coordinator? Which would be the finest occupation to go for? Because in occupation list, there is no such occupation.
I'll leave that with you to answer it.
Sorry?
I'll leave that with you to answer it.
Did you say?
I said I'll leave that with you to answer it.
Okay.
Or probably I can.
Okay, that's then the amazing occupation, which is Information and Organization Professional, NEC. Now, this occupation has been quiet from a long time, and we have seen so much invitation in last year that if you are managing data or advising on policies, business organizational methods, under the working on compliance and risk management, then guys, don't worry, your assessment can be possible. And we have done a lot of cases for this occupation, and we have successfully dealing with this occupation and successfully getting invitation on this occupation so far. So if you are someone that has completed supply chain and working as a logistic coordinator, don't worry about it. We can help you out for your PR process.
Thank you so much, all
Thank you.
our
Thank you, guys.
presenters.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.